rejecting in the rear. I guess cardioid sub setups. Pros: +6 in the front towards the audience, consistent low end, less feedback issues. Cons: band doesn't feel the low end, looks funny, and takes up a lot of real estate. That's what these different types of cardioid sub setups that I'm going to be showing you. On the one hand, you're getting a good output of low end, but on the other, you're sacrificing the back end that probably the musician probably wants to feel. So today I have 6 setups that I will show you and how to deploy it. Only 3 of these I have actually ran and gotten good results. So for my demonstration today, I will be showing you the SPL measures on Mapp 3D. I will be showing you some clips of me actually using these setups. On the ones that I have not used, I will put down 2 guys that I've recently been watching on YouTube, and that's Nathan Lively and Matthew Curtis. Both of those guys, they get real in-depth about these setups. So if you want to find out more the theory of how it works and how to set up even more, I'll put their link in the description. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you have not yet, please subscribe and leave a like on this video. And for your non-sound musician friends, send them this video so their next gigs, if they get a complaint that they're not feeling the sub, it's not hitting, or there's none at all, show them this video, because I'm going to be showing you how to set it up without getting into the theory behind these sub setups. So before I show it, what is a cardioid sub setup? Basically, you are taking this omnidirectional sub that it already outputs, like I will show you right here. So just one sub, this is what it looks like. This is a omnidirectional sub. That's how all subs are. This is outputting at 63 hertz. So this is what it's showing you at 63 hertz, what it's, doing. But what you want to do is get the subs more to the front and less to the back. So for my first setup that I've used, I believe it was 2 years or probably just a year ago. This is the first setup that I've used, and it works good. It just requires 3 subs down the middle of the venue. It's real easy to set up. I recommend having either a board with delay or having an active subwoofer with the DSP in it, because you need to flip the polarity and add delay on all of these setups. So for this one, it's just 3. The outer 2 are going to be normal. They're going to be pointing towards the crowd. This is where the microphone is. This is where the crowd is. For the inner sub, it's going to be facing towards the band. Now, another note with each of these setups, make sure you have at least 3 feet if you're setting in front of a concrete wall, wooden wall, any solid surface behind the setup, because without getting too much into it, it will mess up with the phase and ultimately will not work. And I have ran into that. So make sure you have enough real estate for this to work. So like I said, middle, rear, outer, facing towards the crowd. So at 63 hertz, this is what this setup does. It went from this omni to a cardioid shape. Hence, this is where the name cardioid sub setup comes from, because it's in the shape of a cardioid. Now, what am I doing to get this? All you're doing with that middle sub, while flipping it backwards, I'm using this channel, the delay. This is for a different setup, but the delay, polarity reversed, which is 180, and then just add 3 milliseconds of delay. Another note, make sure for all these setups, each sub has to be the same brand and model. I haven't messed with different ones, but from learning these, uh, it's gonna mess with the phase. So make sure it's the same. It's the same box for each of these setups. I've used this on a narrow venue. I've used this for an open wide venue, basically for the crowd. I have not well, actually, I have used this inside. But if you have 6 total, 3 on one side, 3 on the other, it'll work even way more than this. This is more of like a entry, like if you're on a budget, you just want to get 3 subs in. This will be plenty fine. It's gonna push forward the way you want it. It has great coverage, so people that are in the dance floor that are at least 15 feet back, they're gonna feel it. So, and then let's say around this area where everybody sits, they're going to be able to feel it. The only place you really won't is behind the stage right here. So now the second setup that I've used it recently back in October. This one is called the, I'm calling it the inverted gradient stack. It requires 4 subs. As I mentioned before, same box, same brand, same model. For this to properly work, I found the bottom sub faces towards the audience, and then the one on top faces back. So we're going to be doing the same processes. The one facing back will have its polarity reversed, 180. It's going to be delayed 3 milliseconds. You can experiment going farther in delay or shorter. I like 3 as the sweet spot because I could set it up and be done with it. But if you want to get your max SPL in the front, then you could really pinpoint and get a measurement mic and really get into it. So as I said, I use this for one setup. I didn't really like it, but probably because when I set this one up, they were 10 feet, or let's say they were 20 feet fully spread it apart, which it created a power alley down the middle, and it didn't really give you a lot of sub. So the best distance from each other for this setup is from the center of the stage, or from where the vocalist is 7.5 feet to the center of the cone. So in total, 15 feet. And most of the gig that I had next after this setup, we were on average to a 20 foot to 15 foot stage. So this worked perfectly. But so this is what this setup does. 2 subs, or 2 on each side, 15 feet apart. So what you're basically doing is you're making a real big power alley in the middle, while at the same time you're pushing to the left and right. Now, with these being stacked, what you're doing is you're forcing the sub to go down, since the phase cancels on the back to where the front is and is pushing more. So if you're inside of a building, this will help you even more because it's going to push more while being reflected from the ground. I have not used this outside, but inside it worked pretty good. You can see this is perfect for a long venue, even for a wide one. Let's say there's chairs. Let's say the seating is right here. They're not going to feel it. Seating over here, they're not going to feel it. And then the dance floor, perfectly right here. This is basically a hyper cardioid. There's still a little bit in the back. You can still feel it, but basically what you're doing as the one before, instead of it being a round shape, you are pushing more down the middle that you want. Now, for my second setup, I currently use this one. This is the one I've been using. This is my favorite setup. This one is just like before, 4 subs, but they are ground stacked. So instead of one being on top of the other, you're just laying it down. So what you're basically doing is you're flipping it 90 degrees. So the inner stays in. So the 2 inner subs are going to be facing towards the audience, and then the 2 outer are going to be facing back towards the band. Same setup. The ones towards the rear, flip polarity, 180, add delay, 3 milliseconds. And this is the pattern that you get. Now, as you can see with this setup, this one is a little bit different. Um, Keep it with the same concept. It's pushing more down towards the middle. Basically, outside this works good. Um, I've worked with probably almost a lot of gigs where the seating area was right here perfectly, and of course you cannot feel it. And then, as always, this is the dance floor. Keep in mind this is 15 feet, so you're really gonna feel it. There is a little bit pushing back, but I have had no issues. Probably what it is, finding the right tune, delaying these subs. But yeah, with this setup, it's been working pretty good. Now, as a bonus, I know I said I use 3, but with this one, it's the ground inverted stack, but you're just swapping inside to go out. So basically, is the 2 inside are now facing towards the band, while the 2 outside is facing towards the audience. So what does this do? It makes more of an impact all the way around. I have tried this one, and to me it works pretty good if you are on a smaller space. It's another version of the previous one that I showed. In a couple scenarios, if you want to use it, I mean, it's basically doing the same thing, pushing more towards the front while rejecting the back. Now for the 2, well, I promised 3. For the 2 that I have yet to use but have seen, I will try these one day, but these 2 actually take a little bit more real estate. So for this one is a 4 inverted sub setup. Basically this one sits in front of the stage. I've seen these set up for like a big outside concert, but basically what you're doing is on the subs on the left are going to be facing towards the subs on the right, and then vice versa for the subs on the right. Keep in mind before, the ones you are going to flip the polarity 180 and delay it are going to be the ones in the back, and then the ones in the front you're going to keep it there. So for each of these setups that I've shown, I will make sure to put it in detail how to set it up, because numbers do matter, and it matters how far and close you do place these. So for this one, as I showed before, this one I needed to use the 3.97 delay, and this is what it looks like. This is more towards the actual cardioid, and it really rejects behind. There you go. So for a outside event, wide open space, this is, I mean, you can tell this has really, really good coverage. And then here's the microphone at 15 feet. Really big coverage. And then your stage behind here. I mean, the band, I mean, they're not even going to feel it. So that's one setup you could use. I have yet to use this. One day I will try it. It takes more time and dedication to set this one up. So now for the last one, and I believe this one is what a lot of big sound companies use, like on your concerts. You probably heard the term in-fire array. I believe this is where it came from, and this one is simply called the Inline gradient. I have not used this one yet. This one takes the most real estate because you gotta space your subs exactly 4.16 feet away from each other. Here it is. As I said before, the one in the back, they are both facing forward this time. There's none that is facing backwards. Of course, the only thing is the one behind, flip the polarity 180 and then delay it. So this is what it looks like. Now you can compare this one to what I showed you before, the 4 inverted subs. It's practically doing the same thing. Big wide coverage in the front while rejecting a lot in the back. As I said before, perfect for having a big stage and a big crowd. You can probably set up multiple at a certain pace. I found the more you pull the sub from each other side by side, the more narrow your coverage is going to be, and then the closer, the more wide. Hence, this is about the widest coverage you ever get because they're right in front of each other. So yeah, these are the 6 sub setups that I've seen and 4 that I've actually used. These work good. I highly recommend doing it. As I said, in the description on each setup, I will put down how to set these up. So I hope you enjoy this video. As I said before, if you could please leave a like and subscribe, I will really appreciate it. I plan on making more videos. Currently right now I am editing another event log. If you ever go to a concert, look in the front. If you're in the back, probably not as good. If you're in the front, look at the subs. I guarantee you they're probably doing one of these setups. But as always, there is no right or wrong. Music matters. See ya.